Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to Craft Live. Today we're going to do a simple craft for Easter. The only thing you're going to need is plastic Easter egg. You can do more than one, but I'm just going to show you one. And you're going to need some jute. And these two supplies are in a to-go kit if you've picked one up. And if you're doing this at home, I'm starting out with my jute. I measured it about the length of both of my arms, and I'll be honest with you, I don't know if that's going to be too much or too little, but when we get to the end we'll know if that was the right amount. So the first thing you do, you'll need a hot glue gun, is I went ahead and dabbed some glue on the tip and put my very end there at the tip, and I let it dry a little bit. And then we're going to wrap the jute around all the way down, and you're going to periodically put glue to make it stay. You're going to probably want it on both sides. And we want to get it as tight as possible so that you can't see the egg in between. We're just going to keep wrapping around the whole egg. There are plenty of Easter eggs at the store right now if you don't have any laying around your house.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Could you have gone the long way too? So like the other way of the egg? If you do it that way by mistake? Because I would have gone the other direction.
Like, do you mean if you start on this end or if you start on the side?
I would have made the jute go this way.
Oh.
Would you still put, I don't know. That's where my instinct would be to go.
Okay. This problem I see with doing it that way is as you're winding, you would end up
slipping off.
Well, not necessarily, but you would have to do this half and then go back and do this half.
Okay. That's just the way I would have instinctively gone if I had not watched
I mean,
the video.
technically you could do it that way, but you would have to probably cut your string and go back to do the other half.
Okay.
And if you, aesthetically, if you're going to have a bunch of them, you know, in a bowl or something on your counter, it would probably look neat to have them that way. Have some one way and some the other.
So a variety.
A variety. You could also, I've seen where people used colored yarn.
Oh.
And so they had various colors. And so I could actually stop right here and start using another color and then have a striped egg.
Oh, that's a good idea because it would look like eggs that you had then colored.
Yes.
Oh.
You can also get lace or ribbon, and once you have it completely covered in the jute, put a couple rounds of lace or ribbon or buttons to add some more decorative touch to it. This is really just the base, and if you're a minimalist, then the simplicity is going to work for you. If you like more detail, then you can add as much detail as you want. Okay, and here I'm already to the end of my arm's worth of jute. I wasn't sure how much we would need, so we will cut some more. It uses a lot more than I expected. Y'all are learning with me. So I'm going to do 2 arms lengths to add to that. So that'll be a total of 3. Actually, you know what? I can just leave it. I was going to get a scissors, but I will leave it the way it is. And I'm just attaching it there where the other one ended.
So you really could do whatever you want. It doesn't matter because you can just put the string butted up.
Yeah. I could start with another color here and it wouldn't, I don't think it would make a huge, it wouldn't be noticeable that you all of a sudden changed.
Well, and if they're looking that closely to transitions, then they probably don't want to look at the stuff I craft.
And as you get further down the egg, you definitely want to add glue on both sides because you'll have more room in between. And once you get the hang of it, you can twist it around there pretty quickly. Just make sure you have glue. I would not recommend doing this with Elmer's or craft glue. It's not going to dry fast enough. And you wouldn't want to use super glue, obviously, because you're going to get it on your fingers. In my opinion, hot glue is the best for this.
Now, is your egg glued shut or it's not?
I did not glue it shut.
Okay.
That might be a good idea to do if you think about it before you start, but you're honestly gonna get some glue there on the crack anyway. As you can see right there, I have some glue, so that will help seal it shut.
Okay.
And once all the jute's on there, I mean, unless you have kids playing with it, it
should hold.
It should hold. Because you usually have to pop them a little bit to get them open anyway, so. And this is using not very much glue at all. It gets a little bit trickier here as you get to the end.
Yeah, I can see
because
that.
It wants to move the other direction.
So more glue towards the end?
Probably more. You may have to use more glue to keep it where you want it to stay. And if you're putting it all the way around like I just did, make sure you do a very thin line if you can. Some glue guns allow you to do that, some put out a thicker line, and you may end up with too much glue.
Is it getting harder to hold too? Or no?
I think it's just harder to push it up and make it tight. Because as you can see right here, I didn't get that real tight because it was moving, so you can see a little bit of the pink.
That's kind of cool.
It is kind of cool. Or if it bothers you, then that's a good spot. You can cover it with a
button
or some ribbon or lace. And we've almost got it all wrapped up here. And then we can figure out how to make the end of it look pretty. The beginning end was easy because we could just cover it up. The bottom end is going to be a little bit more detail oriented. And here you can see I didn't get quite enough glue, so I'm going to add some extra and push it up in there. And if it does start to gush out once it dries, we can scrape it off a little bit. You pretty much, at this point, are going to want glue around the whole thing because it's moving. If you have older kids or grandkids at home, I'm sure they'd like to help with this as well. Make sure they're old enough to understand that the glue might burn their fingers a little bit. So you may want to do this part and then let them add any kind of decoration to it. I know my kids are happy to just help me pick out the colors on crafts sometimes. I used to have some yarn that was multicolored that would make some pretty eggs, like a rainbow.
Yarn would be thicker too, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So you wouldn't have to use as much jute? Or no?
I don't know. Some yarn is thinner than others, and some is thicker, so I guess it depends what you end up buying. But if it's thick, then yeah, you wouldn't have to use as much length because it would take up more space. Here it looks like we have some chick eyes hanging out on the end. If you wanted to stop right here, you could, and add some bunny ears even.
Yeah, that'd be cute, like it's burrowed or something. If you did white yarn, it would really look like a bunny rabbit, or gray.
The jute gives you that rustic look that people are going for. And I'm almost to the end of the amount of jute that I pulled out earlier, so I would say 3 complete arm lengths of jute or yarn is probably about what you're going to want. If you're using it straight out of the spool like this, you don't really even have to cut it. Make sure you have plenty of glue there at the very center as you push it in. And then I will let that dry, and once it's completely dry, I'll cut it off. And then that is the base of our jute egg, and feel free to add any extra. If you make one of these at home, please put a picture of it in the comments so the rest of us can see. And be sure to fill out the survey that is attached to this video. Because we are getting from a CARES grant money to help fund this activity, and we want to let them know how you like it. So I'll see you again next month for another Craft Live. Bye!